Right, so let's have a little recap. Outbound appointment setting. What exactly is outbound appointment setting? So it's an outbound appointment setter's job to bring in book. Obviously the same with all appointment setting. It's your job to book consultation calls. And the difference between inbound and outbound appointment setting is the process, like how you are getting these leads, how you are finding these people. Inbound, of course, they are coming to you. With outbound, you are messaging them first. You are messaging them first. That's why it's outbound. That's called why it's called outbound appointment setting. This could be through many things. It could be things through like cold emails, cold calling. Maybe you're doing cold outreach on Instagram, but you are messaging them first. You are contacting them first. You are taking the first step in the sales process. So an example. Let's do so. Examples: cold emails, cold outreach, door to door, cold calling. The clue is in the name here: cold emails, cold outreach, cold calling. You are dealing with cold leads. Cold leads, for the most part, cold leads. You might be able to get some slightly warmer leads by some of the strategies I'm going to tell you about throughout this course. But you're mainly dealing with cold leads. Most of these people that you're going to be messaging have never heard of you before today, don't know you, don't trust you, don't know anything about you. And that's where the challenge comes of actually, and that's where the skill comes along of actually building that rapport, qualifying the lead, and making them interested in booking that call. Sales job. It's a sales job. These people are not going to want to buy from you straight away, or in this case, they're not going to want to book a call with you straight away. You've got to build up to that point, and that is your job as the outbound appointment setup. You've got to use your skills, your friendliness, your personality, your qualifying skills, your report gathering skills. You've got to assert yourself as the authority, and by using this whole skill set, it's your job to make them interested in hopping on that call. So, in this module, we are going to be focusing on outbound appointment setting. Then we'll be covering inbound appointment setting. I think it's important to go over outbound first. Then we're going to cover inbound, and then we're going to go on to general appointment setting theory, which will go across both inbound and outbound appointment setting. So, something that is very, very important as an outbound appointment setter is target audience. Because, if you're working for, let's say you was working for me, and, obviously I've got Alpha Setter program where it's a men only program where I teach people appointment setting. Let's say that um, you was my outbound appointment setter and you started messaging 10 women on a daily basis offering to them to join my program, and then you book the call with them, and I get on the call and I'm like, yo, why is there women on the call? Like, I don't sell to women. It wouldn't make sense, right? It wouldn't make sense reaching out to women when I don't accept women into my program. It's important that you are targeting the correct audience for the business that you're working for. Let's say you are working for a YouTube coach and you're targeting someone with a TikTok business. Doesn't make sense. You've got to target the right people when you are doing your outreach. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. So, target audience, you need to make sure you understand thoroughly what the target audience is. So, if you're working whoever you're working for, you need to have a conversation with them. You need to understand your target audience. You need to understand your target audience. The more that you know about your target audience, the better. You need to understand their needs, pain points, desires, all of these things, right? Their needs, wants, pains, desires. The more you know your target audience, the easier it will be to actually, find them. It'll be easier to find them, and it will be easier to book them on the calls. It's like me. I know my target audience very, very well. I know what to say. I know what's going to trigger an emotional response. I know how to extract a pain point. I know my target audience very well, and that makes it a lot easier for me to book them on the call and close the call. So it's important that you guys understand your target audience, and to do this, you're going to need to have you need to have a conversation with your clients, with your business owner. You don't know your target audience. Only your business owner knows who their perfect customers are. Obviously, if they are too specific with the target audience, then tell them this. Communication is key. Because if they are too specific, then it might just be too difficult to locate these people on Instagram. But what I would recommend is have a chat to them about it. Ideally, you want to have a brief sort of outline of who they want to target, and then you're going to go away and start finding these people. So, how to find these people? How to find these people once you understand their target audience? Simple. So, let's say that you are working for an SMMA, and they want to do short form content for long form video creators. So they want to take someone's long form content and cut it up into little short clips, right? So their target audience is long form content creators. So, because this is something that I've done before, right? So what I would do, there's a few ways that you can go about this. Like basically all of the methods that I told you about for prospecting, you can basically apply this into your outbound appointment setting, because when you are prospecting, you are basically outbound appointment setting. So first of all, we're going to add a couple of more things in here though. First things first, you can use the YouTube search bar. This is very, very good. So let's just add that on here. I think I said YouTube search bar, but my bad. Instagram search bar. This is a really, really good tool. So let's say I'm targeting long form video content producers. This could mean podcasts. This could mean streamers. This could mean YouTubers. So if I type in Twitch, what's going to come up? A load of streamers. And guess what? All of these guys are going to be my target audience, and I can message all of these people. And then what I can do, once I found one of these guys, okay, he's got a YouTube channel. And in fact, no, that's not a very good example. Let's go back on here and do that again. Twitch. So Twitch a lot. Don't know who this is. This is, again, not a very good example. But what I'm trying to show you here is that then we can go on to do the other methods that I've talked about before, which is go on to the following. Let's try and find a better example. Twitch. This looks like it would be a better example. And then we'll go on here. And then she's probably following a load of other streamers, right? You can go through the following and try and find some more streamers or YouTubers or whatever it is, right? You just sort of click on these one by one, open this, then go back, open the next one, go back, open the next one. You just go down the list and find as many Twitch streamers as possible, right? Click on this, go on the next one. And yeah, that's going to help you find some Twitch streamers. They've got a YouTube as well. This is a really good way to find your target audience. So let's say, okay, I've been through all of the Twitch. Now I'm going to type in YouTube. And then a load of YouTubers are going to come up, right? And then I'm going to type in podcast. And then a load of podcasters are going to come up. And then I might type in streamer. And then I might type in YouTuber, podcaster, and then all these different options are going to show up. So that's a really good way of finding your target audience. Again, you can also do things like put yourself in the mindset of one of these people, like hashtag streamer, hashtag gamer girl or certain. Think of what hashtags would your target audience be using, and then you can sort of reverse engineer this a little bit and then find these accounts just by doing this. Also, this looks like a streamer. 64k, yeah, streamer, bang. I think. Also, another thing that you can do is similar to like I said in the prospecting video, you can find accounts that you think these types of people would follow. So YouTube growth. YouTube growth. If someone is following a YouTube growth expert, then it's likely that they have a YouTube channel themselves, right? And again, you can go through his following, you can go through his followers, and most importantly, for an account like this, what you want to do is find the most recent video, and go through the people who have liked this. Because if they're liking content like this, it would make sense that they've got their own YouTube channel, right? So again, so many ways to find these people, to find your target audience. Search bar, following, engagement, and stuff like that, and hashtags. These are the main ways that you are going to actually identify your target audience. Also, another way of finding outbound people to message. So go through people who engage with your client, and you should make a habit out of this, to be honest. So let's say my appointment setters. So I've got my account here, and obviously I'm an appointment setting coach. I train people in appointment setting. Any new follower that I get, or people that have liked my post or something, shoot them a message. Shoot them a message. I'll give you an example. So hopefully Ben's watching this as well. So see if we can find Ben, because recently Ben shot me a follow, and me as my own appointment setter at the time, I messaged him because he followed me. That's a great way. Like it's a great way. Like not everyone has the initiative to shoot you that first message. So it's great as an outbound appointment setter. You're still shooting them the first message. You're still doing outbound, but it just makes the whole process a little bit easier because they're a little bit warmer. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, sometimes the leads can be a little bit warmer. So hey bro, thanks for the follow. How's your self-improvement going, G? Friday, he followed me. I messaged him. Outbound appointment setter. So people who engage with your client, this could be follows, likes, comments. Another one could be like, let's say you have a Facebook group, or your client has a Facebook group, and maybe you are going through all of the people that have joined the Facebook group and messaging them. Maybe your client has their own Discord server, and you're going to message everyone that's in their Discord server. Like, there's loads of ways to do outbound appointment setting, guys. It's not just it's not literally just doing the search method, hashtag method, and messaging people like that. There's loads of different ways to do it, like the Discord server. If they've got any assets, you can leverage those to find more leads. Like, again, the warmer the leads, the better. If they're already following you, if they're already in a server, if they're already in your email list or whatever, then that's going to make it much easier to convert them. But again, even if you are just dealing with pure cold leads, it still is very, very straightforward to actually go out there and find these people. Use the methods that I've told you about, and again, communication is key. Make sure to sit down and have a conversation with your client, with your business owner. Make sure you understand their target audience. Make sure you understand the target audience, and also ask them if they've got any assets like Facebook groups, Discord servers, etc. Because this is all going to make your job a lot easier. It's going to make you more money, and it's going to make your client more money. So yeah, have a conversation with them about this. Hope it helped. Keep grinding, boys. I don't think some of you boys realize how good of an opportunity outbound appointment setting is right now. Outbound appointment setting is a gold mine, and especially if you're a savage and you're really willing to commit to the grind, you are going to absolutely tear through this appointment setting industry, boys. If you are a young guy and you're really willing to fully commit to achieving your goals, boys, you can make so much money through outbound appointment setting at the moment. It's ridiculous. And I'm going to tell you why. And it's one of those things like people don't realize it. It sounds too simple. It sounds like too much work. But boys, the payoff, if you actually commit to this over a long period of time, is incredible. Outbound appointment setting is OP as fuck. And I'm going to tell you why. For a start, why is it doing this? I've recorded this video a few times now. It keeps doing this. Okay, right. You know what? We're just going to keep going. Outbound appointment setting is super OP, and I'm going to tell you why. So, first of all, you're going to get really, really good. You're going to get really, really good at appointment setting. If you're consistently practicing outbound, because you're dealing with cold leads, and this is more difficult than dealing with warm leads, you're going to get really, really good at appointment setting. This is going to act as your foundation, boys, because quick diagram time. People want the results very fast. I heard Alex Hormozy talking about this. People want to build a small foundation and they want to build the building really, really high, right? What's going to happen? The building is going to fall down. Oh, it's not going to be able to go very high. Okay, you've built your foundation. Now this is how high your building can go. Congratulations. But the savages, the people who are in this long term, the people who really want to completely change their lives with this, understand that to build a high tower, you've got to build a long foundation. So if you build a long foundation of just pure outbound grind, then eventually, after you've built this foundation, now you can slowly start to build upwards and upwards and upwards. And now you've gone so much further than if you just rush the process. Of course, speed is key. And I want you to dive into these roles and start getting experience as quick as possible. But you need to be willing to learn, grind, keep committing to the process and showing up every day. Because outbound appointment setting, when you first start, is a hell of a grind, boys. Because when you're new to appointment setting, outbound appointment setting, it feels like you're putting a lot of time into something and not getting much out of it. If you're sending 50 messages a day for your client and you are maybe earning £100, £200 a week if you're lucky from that amount of work, it might feel like, well, Temi, you lied to us. This is not a very good opportunity. But you're still learning, boys. You're still getting to grips with your skills. You're still learning how to do this. You're not going to be a master at this. It takes months and months and months to master this skill. And with outbound appointment setting, of course, with appointment setting anyway, but the better you get, the more you make. And it's as simple as that. If you build your foundation so long that you're just so good at appointment setting, you've basically got an infinite money glitch, boys. Because with outbound, you're not relying on warm leads. You've got an infinite amount of people out there that you can message and outreach to. Of course, depending on your target audience, not infinite, but you get the idea. You've got a very, very large amount of leads that you can go out there and message. And if you're a savage and you've invested the time into getting sick at outbound appointment setting to the point where you can consistently convert these warm leads, you've got an infinite money glitch, but you're making so much peas, you're making so much money. So appointment setting is really, really OP. And mainly, one, you're going to get really, really good. Two, lots of leads. They're not leads, but lots of people to message. Always something to do. Always something to do. Easy to get hired. So many benefits of outbound appointment setting, boys. Discipline. You're going to become a savage. Like you're going to become so much better than these guys. Strong foundation. So you're going to be doing all of these things, right? There's quite a lot here, quite a lot of things that I've just covered. But outbound appointment setting is crazy overpowered, and your income is pretty much uncapped when it comes to outbound. Of course, you've got to keep getting better. You've got to keep grinding. So the point of this video, anyway, is about volume and consistency, because these are the most important things when it comes to actually outbound appointment setting. These are the things that are going to increase your income. Let's say in this video, we're going to go through a lot of hypothetical situations. We're going to do a lot of maths. So let's say you're sending 20 messages per day. 20 messages per day, and you are earning around 500 per week. You're sending 20 messages per day and earning around 500 per week. And now you want to scale. Now you want to get to £1,000 a week. So you want to 2x your income. Do you know what the easiest way to 2x your income is as an outbound appointment setter? 2x your input. 2x your outreach. If you're sending 20 messages a day and earning £500 a week, then congratulations. Send 40 messages a day and you can earn roughly £1,000 a week. It's that simple. Like volume and consistency is like one of the most important things. Let's say you are sending 20 and also the thing is as well, what I'm not factoring into this maths, and I hope you guys understand what I mean by this. I hope this isn't confusing any of you guys. So I say 2xing your input, 2x is your income, is what I'm claiming here. But this is not true. This is not the case. Because you are actually more than 2xing your income. Because if you're sending double the messages, you are improving at double the rate. You're getting twice as much experience, so you are improving at appointment setting twice as fast as you would have been before. So let's say you was getting 1% better per day. Now you're getting 2% better a day. And now every percentage point that you get better, your income is going to increase because you're going to be booking more calls, qualifying the leads better, and you're going to be making more. So let's say you 2x your input. It's not going to result in 2x your income. Let's move that away. If you 2x your input, maybe you will 3x your income. If you 2x your input, maybe you'll 3x your income, because you've got to take on board that factor that doubling your messages, you're going to be learning about your target audience, you're going to be improving as an appointment setter. So let's say you're sending 20 messages a day, earning 500 per week, send 40 messages a day, and now you're earning 1.5k a week. Do you understand, boys? Do you understand? You've gone from earning 2k a month to 6k a month by doubling your output. And then can you see now why outbound appointment setting is for the savages? Those of you guys who are truly ready to commit, it's not going to be fun. Outbound appointment setting is not fun by any means. It's an absolute grind. But again, you're in the Alpha Setter program. You're here to make significant changes. Even though it's a grind that you can do from wherever you want in the world, from your beach house in Hawaii, from your penthouse in Dubai. Would you rather be working in your 9 to 5 or doing this tedious job from a Dubai penthouse? Like, if you get good at this, then you will never ever have to work a regular job again in your life, boys. I know, even like Alpha Setter 2.0, you can take that from me. I am never ever going to struggle to make money in my entire life because I know how to do this, because I know how to make money as an outbound appointment setter. Recently my ads got blocked completely, but I'm not stressed because I know if it comes down to it and I'm desperate for money, I can literally use outbound appointment setting to just make money from my program. I can outbound appointment set for myself. I don't need ads. I'm not scared in any way that I've been blocked from using ads, because I know whenever I want, I can sit down, send out messages and get leads. And this is super valuable to business owners. So volume and consistency is your key. The more volume that you can put in, the more you will get out from this. And the earlier you can start putting in the volume, the earlier you're going to start seeing that compounding effects of your learning, of your growth. You're going to improve at a much faster rate. So let's say to start off with, you're sending 20 messages per day. And then eventually, after 6 months, you quit your job and now you start sending 60 messages per day. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I'm sure I can make it work. Week 1, week 100. We're gonna say that week 1, that's too much. Week 1, week 50. Okay. Week 1, 20 messages a day. And then at this point we're gonna give you an appointment setting level. At this point, you are level 50. You get to level 50 on week 50, and then when you start sending 60 messages a day, by week I don't know what I'm going with this, but by week 100, you are still sending 60 per day. You're still sending 60 messages per day, and now in this 50 days you went from 1 to 50, and in this 50 days you went from in this 50 weeks you went from level 50 to level 200. Okay, this is making sense. So you were sending 20 messages a day, and it took you 50 weeks to get to level 50. And then once you got to level 50, you started sending 60 messages a day, and it took you 50 weeks to put on 150 levels. So the difference here is 49, but we're just going to say difference here, 50 levels, difference here, 150 levels, right? Or let's say you manage to really squeeze it out. You're still working your regular job, but you fully commit to the grind. You're like, screw it, it's grind season. If I'm not working while I'm young, if I'm not grinding, then what am I even doing? 1 year sacrificing that now could set me up for the rest of my life. So it's time to just grind. So week 1, you are now, instead of sending 20 messages a day, you are sending 40 messages per day. And you're going to see how this compounds. So instead of sending, so now that you're sending 40 messages a day, it doesn't take you 50 weeks to quit your job. Now it only takes you 20 weeks. Week 20, because you've doubled your input. You're learning at that quicker rate. You're learning at a faster rate. So now, in fact, let's just half it for easy numbers. 25. And now you're at week 25. Now you're sending 60 messages a day, like you would have been anyway, but you took that first sacrifice at the beginning. And I really hope that this is making sense, boys, because it's making sense to me. I hope it's making sense for you guys. So you started at level 1. And now by week 25, you are at level 50. Again, literally half the time. You've quit your job and now you're at level 50. And now by week 75, you're still doing 60 messages a day, and now you're at level 200. Boys, just commit to your grind. Honestly, commit to your grind. If you've got to sacrifice in the short term to thrive in the long term, as you can see here, it's definitely worth it, because just by committing to the grind a little bit sooner, just squeezing that extra 20 messages a day in, look how much literally you get to this point where you quit your job literally twice as fast as the first scenario. So it's super important, boys. And to be honest, these numbers, even though like it's only like you've saved 25 weeks, this would still be compounding if you factor into the point that you're going to improve a lot quicker and stuff like that. You're going to start booking more calls, your confidence is going to go up, blah 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 blah. The results are going to be even more exponential than this. Like, again, hope that makes sense, but I'm just trying to show you that the importance of volume and consistency. Let's say you send 50, 10, 20, 10, 50, 10, 20, 10, compared to just sending 40, 40, 40, 40. To be honest, I think that would have worked with 30, 30, 30, 30, but of course, that's 90, 80, 160. You don't need to don't put in one big day and then the rest of the days are just dead. Try and have a baseline, one consistent number that you do every day. So whether that be 40, that's a good number. Obviously, the daily objectives, I believe, say 20. But again, 20, these are really small numbers, but 20 is not a lot of messages. That's your baseline. But to be honest, if you can, I recommend you set yourself a different baseline and really try and push yourself. If you've got time to go to sleep at night, you've got time to do the daily objectives. No matter what, you should never be missing a day of outreach. That's just not acceptable. You should make 20 your baseline, no matter what. If before you go to sleep, you've got to send 20. But again, if you can set yourself a baseline of 40, 50, then perfect. All the better. And just before I close off this video, just so you know how to, because sometimes you'll get flagged. If you send too many messages on Instagram, you'll get action blocked. And of course, if you get action blocked, then you can't send messages and you can't make money. So how to prevent this? This is how I'm going to know who's watched the content and who hasn't, because I get asked about this all the time. So let's see who's watched to the end of this video. Send 10 messages per hour. Break it up. Break up your messages. Message in small blocks. Don't send too many messages at once, because this is what's going to get you flagged by the algorithm. You want to split your message up as soon as possible. So let's say you work a 9 to 5. Wake up in the morning, send 10 messages. Go about your day. On your lunch break, send another 10 messages. You get home from work for the next 3 hours while you're home from work, send 10 messages each hour. Break it up. One, this is going to make it slightly more enjoyable in a way. Like it's not going to be enjoyable, but it's not going to be torture. Like sitting there and just messaging 50 people, that is torture. Break it up into blocks, like do 10 per hour. It's going to make it easier, less stressful, and it's going to prevent you from getting action blocked. So that's how to start, because usually you'd get action blocks after sitting there and sending like 25 messages. And of course, if you want to send 50 messages a day plus, then you need to break it up. You need to break up your messages in order to avoid getting flagged by the algorithm. So that's just a little tip for you guys. But yeah, the more volume you can put in, the better. The sooner, the better. Stay consistent. Don't be on your grind 1 week, fall off the next week. You just need to keep a baseline, keep it going. If you're not getting the results yet with outbound appointments, then it's because you are not yet competent enough. You don't deserve the results. I want you to think about it, especially when you start out, like I said, about building that foundation. I want you to think of it as if you're going to do so much outreach that it would literally be unreasonable for you to not succeed at this. You're going to do so much outreach that by the end of it, you can guarantee to yourself that you are going to be incredible at appointment setting. You're going to do so much outreach that it would be unreasonable for you not to become an expert. That's the level of dedication I want. The same way as if you was practicing a sport or practicing violin. If you practice violin for 5 hours a day, eventually you're going to get pretty good at violin, no matter how stupid or unmusical you are, unmusically talented. If you do this for 5 hours every single day, send 50 messages every single day, it's unreasonable that at some point you're not going to be an absolute beast at appointment setting and you're going to be making a lot of money. It's all about mindset, boys. Alpha Setter Program. We're here to be savages. We're here to take over. This is sort of what I want from you boys. Just throwing that out there. If you are doing inbound appointment setting and you ever run out of leads, I expect you, without a second thought, start doing outreach. Start doing outreach, boys. Damien, Josh, whoever's working for me as appointment setters at the moment, I might have hired some new guys. If you're watching this, if you run out of leads, I expect you start hitting the cold outreach. Do numbers, boys. It's going to improve at your appointment setting. It's going to help make you more money in the short term as well, because obviously if you're sending more messages, you're earning more money. But think of the long-term foundation that you're building. Keep grinding, boys. Right, boys. Today we're talking about outbound flow. Basically, just a basic structure for when you're doing cold outreach. When you're doing not necessarily cold outreach, but just doing outreach in general, just outbound appointment setting. Um, for client work, this is not really how you're going to approach prospects, but you can definitely implement something like that for your prospecting as well. There are different ways to approach an outbound appointment setting. That's a mistake. There are different ways to approach outbound appointment setting. What works best will depend on your niche and target audience. I highly recommend trying out different things to find what works best for you. So don't just stick to the same thing every time. It's going to be different. What works best is going to be different depending on the niche, depending on the target audience, depending on your account setup. Like, have you got a more professional account setup? Is it you working with like a logo and a pure business page, or is it a personal account? Things like that. So switch up your strategies, try different things, and find what works best. Maybe if you're working with a more experienced client, they will have a specific way that they want you to approach things. And if not, if you're not working with someone that's already got appointment setters or had appointment setters before, I would recommend experimenting for yourself to try and find what works best. And then as soon as you come across the best method, then you'll just stick with that, and you'll be maximizing your efficiency, basically your conversion rates. Even when experimenting with different methods, most outreach will follow the same structure. So this is like the typical structure of an outbound conversation, right? So you'll have your opening message, genuine, complimentary. Doesn't need to be complimentary, but it does need to be genuine. Even if it's just simple, like, hey Tom, great to connect with you. Thanks for dropping me a follow, or something like that. Even if it's just super light-hearted and just a basic introduction, it should always be genuine. Never come across salesy in the first message. It's super important because you just won't get a reply. Big red flag. Complimentary is optional, but it's always nice to add a little compliment in there if you can. Ideally, not just generic, I really like your recent post, because everyone says that. Then what's next is you need to take control of the conversation. So after your opening message, you might have a little bit of small talk. They might reply with a little bit of small talk or just a bit of a light-hearted conversation. But now the next step is to take control of the conversation, and now you are intentionally changing the focus of the conversation towards them, their business, their problems, what they're doing, so that you can continue with your structure and you can actually book this call, see if they're a qualified lead, get them interested, etc., etc. Right. So take control of the conversation. You'll do this by like asking them what are you doing to make money at the moment, or do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions, or I noticed that you have a lead generator in your bio. Are you currently working with an appointment setter? How's business going so far this year? Something related to whatever it is that you want to offer. Okay. Now, next step is going to be educating them or making them aware of a problem. So educating them as in maybe they are struggling to generate new leads for their Instagram coaching business, and now you can educate them as in maybe ask them, have you tried using outreach, or have you tried bringing on board a specialist appointment setter to help with that problem, or I've worked with many people in the past with similar problems, or something like that. And you're going to then like inform them more about their problem and how they can solve it a little bit. So you're going to be educating them a little bit. The next part is logistics and qualification. This is where you need to like qualify the lead. Like, do they actually have the resources to afford whatever service or products that you want to offer them? You're going to be actually like making sure they're interested, like checking that they're interested. Those two key points: can they afford it, and are they interested? And basically, you're just going to go through your probing questions, find their pain points, try and find a solution to their pain point, etc., etc. So, and also like logistics, and things like, are they the decision maker? Super important. So that's where this stuff comes in. Then once you're sure of all that, you're sure that they can afford it, they're interested, they're the decision maker, and their business would actually be a good fit for your services. That's when you'd introduce. It's not always necessary, but that's when you would introduce the pre/soft pitch, like we discussed in yesterday's content, and then offer the call. Pretty straightforward. It seems like a lot of steps, but a lot of the time you're going to be knocking some of these down in just a single message, right? So you're going to offer the call. Obviously, not all the time are they just going to be like, yeah, let's call them out, through some objections your way, like I'm busy or not really interested. That's where you're going to do your objection handling. I've done a lot of training on this. You're going to handle the objections, and then finally, you're You're going to get the Calendly link over and you're going to lock in the call. And then after that, most of the time, you'll just be ending the conversation. But if your client has any pre-call assets, like introduction videos or anything like that, that's when you'll send that over. So yeah, it may seem like a lot of steps in the DMs, but you may complete multiple steps in a single message. For example, your opening message might immediately start taking control. You might open with a message that already sets the frame. It might not be small talk. Or, for example, educating or making them aware of the problem. You could be making them aware of the problem with your qualifying questions. So you could be doing multiple of these in the same message. You know what I mean? So it's not as complicated as it might seem. The ideal length of an outbound conversation is around 7 to 10 messages before booking the call. Doesn't have to be long, boys. You don't want these conversations going across multiple days. You want to get them on call as quickly as possible. Speed is absolutely key when it comes to appointment setting. Every conversation will be different, so don't just follow this flow like an NPC. Adapt to the situation, and the key is to let it flow. Again, boys, you can't sound like you're copy and pasting messages. You can't sound like a robot. You can't sound like you're reading from a script. You need to be personalizing these conversations. Always acknowledge what they said. So instead of just question, oh, nice, man, that sounds really great. Or, oh, yeah, and maybe even share some of your experiences. Oh, I used to do something very similar a couple of years ago before I got into appointment setting. Personalize the conversation, show genuine interest, be authentic, and be yourself. Show some personality. Remember to always personalize the conversation. Keep it light and friendly, especially when speaking to the general public. So what I mean by when speaking to the general public is sometimes you're going to be speaking to business owners, right? Maybe you're like a marketing agency and you're specifically targeting business owners that are already running Facebook ads, for example. You'll speak to a business owner slightly different to then if you were selling an appointment setting course like I am, and I'm just targeting the general public, just regular people who want to make extra money online. You speak to those two people different. If you could see that they are a university student, you speak to them slightly differently to if they were a CEO. Do you understand my point? In both cases, you want to keep it light and friendly, but you can make it even more casual when speaking to the general public. Like literally the exact same way you'd message a friend. Like you can add LOLs and yo bro, how are you? Yo bro, what you saying? You like when you're speaking to the general public, keep it super light. You do not want to come across as a salesman. I've got a little example conversation here. It's not long. It's just like the introduction part. Like, Luke, thanks for commenting on my recent post. So if you're doing outbound, ideally, it's a lot easier to target people that are following you or commenting on your posts and liking your posts, for example. So just wondering, bro, what is it that you do to make money at the moment? Like I said before, this is tackling two birds with one stone. So here I'm opening message, genuine complimentary, and I'm all immediately taking control. And to be honest, I'm immediately trying to qualify them. Multiple things in one message. This is for an Instagram growth course. Make money through Instagram growth. I resell shoes at the moment. I was thinking about starting an Instagram and TikTok account though. That's great, man. Acknowledging what he said. IG pages are a great way to make money at the moment. What niche do you have in mind? Similar to yours, to be honest. I think it would be most profitable, right? So he's clearly interested in the services. I've not qualified him yet, and I've not qualified that he can afford the services yet, which would be the next step. But he showed that he's interested. I started it. It's nice and light. Called him G. Called him by his name. Threw in a couple of bros in there. That's pretty much it, boys. Hope this helps. Keep going. So, big problem that you guys face is how to actually build trust when you are dealing with cold leads. When you are messaging people for the first time, they don't know you. How do you actually build trust? Got to take it slow, boys. Got to take it slow. There's not a whole lot I can say to you here because it's just sort of the stuff that you already know. But got to take it slow. And what I mean by this, I'm going to try and elaborate on these things as much as possible. Don't rush into pitching them. In fact, scrap that. Don't pitch them at all. You do not want to pitch these guys, boys. As soon as when they don't know you, if you trigger on a red flag, then they're going to run away. You're going to trigger their fight or flight reflexes, and they're not going to reply to you, boys. You can't pitch them on anything ever. Don't pitch them when doing outbound appointment setting. Doesn't work, boys. It's the fastest way to scare off your leads. Pitching them, just take it slow, have a conversation with them, ask them questions, gather intelligence, do the things that you've been trained to do, boys. Chess game. At no point in the chess game should you be rushing them. You know, you're gonna scare them away. It's not gonna work, boys. So take it slow. You are going to ask them questions. Ask them questions to pique their curiosity, and arrive to their own conclusions. So you want to ask questions that get them thinking, that pique curiosity a little bit, give them some free value, give them some hints, sort of lead them in the right direction that you want them to go, right? So instead of just pitching, lead them. Guide, Okay, yeah, that's all messed up. That's messed up. We're just going to leave it there. Lead them. You need to guide the conversation to where you want the conversation to go. And you're going to do this through asking questions. Instead of messaging them the first message, hey, bro, do you want to get rich this year? Screaming red flags. Screaming red flags. Hey, bro, do you want to get rich this year? That scream scam. Hey, bro, I can see that you're interested in the gym. Or are you into self-improvement? Yes, brother. Oh, how's that going for you so far, bro? Yeah, everything's going well, bro. Oh, glad to hear that, bro. I'm big into self-improvement too. What are your main goals for this year? If he's on self-improvement, it's likely that he wants to make money. I know my target audience. Therefore, I'm asking targeted questions. I know where the conversation is going to go. Instead of saying, do you want to get rich this year? I'm going to ask, what are your goals for this year since you're on self-improvement? And he'll go, I want to get stronger in the gym and I want to make money online. Oh, perfect. So you're interested in making money online? What have you tried so far, bro? And now I'm on to the topic that I want to be on. Instead of just trying to force them there, ask targeted questions to lead them to where you want to go. Take it slow. Don't rush this process. It takes however long it takes. As soon as you start to rush and you start to give off needy vibes, you're going to scare them away, boys. You need to adopt this abundance mindset. You need to be patient. Chess player mindset, boys. Chess player mindset. So you need to lead them. And in order to lead them, you must take control of the conversation. You need to take control of the conversation if you are to lead them. So you need to be the one that's asking these targeted questions. You don't want them asking you about, oh, why are you messaging me for? What are you selling and stuff like that. If they come at you with that approach, that's fine. There's not really anything you can do about that. But you've got to handle the situation and make it very clear that you're not here to sell anything. You're just curious, blah, 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 blah. And you need to handle this as a trust objection. And then take control of the conversation. And then begin by asking targeted questions. You need to come across as genuine as possible. You need to connect with them. Connect with them man to man. So, informality. These are things that I've covered. I've covered all of these things in past content, but this is something people struggle with. So I just thought I'd cover it. You need to come across as genuine as possible. Ha-has, lols, just curious. Connect with them man to man. How are you doing, G? I can see that you follow blah, blah. Have you seen his recent videos? Yeah, sick. I really love what you're doing anyway on your gym grind, bro. Can you give me some advice on X? I struggle with biceps. Can you give me some help? Bro, your back's looking mad. What are your gym goals for this year? Oh, are you into self-improvement too? Oh, perfect, bro. I mean, actually, I've been in self-improvement for a while. Are you into escaping the matrix and all that stuff? Oh, and you're going to just connect with them man to man. The same way you speak to your boys, that's the way you should be speaking to your prospects. Of course, it's different if it's B2B versus B2C. If it's B2B, then you're going to speak to them. Obviously, you're going to speak to them differently compared to B2C. But still, you should be connecting with them man to man, informal, no sales pitches, no salesy vibes. You're just asking questions. You need to adopt it as in the mindset. When you first message someone, you don't even know if they would be a good fit for your offer or not. So you need to message them as if you're genuinely actually trying to find out a little bit more about them to see if they'd be a good fit for whatever it is that you are actually offering. That's the sort of mindset you need to adopt, and that will definitely help you slow things down, ask more questions instead of just talking and pitching. And read your messages through, right? If they don't sound genuine, if they sound forced, or if they sound like you're trying too hard, you're going to scare people away. So, because people can tell if your messages are fake. So, don't exaggerate, don't or be overly friendly. And you know, I talk about be genuine, connect, and be informal, and people take that the wrong way and be overly friendly. If people can sense that you are literally sucking up to them and being overly friendly just to get on their good side, it's gonna scream red flags, and people are gonna run away from you. As well, men don't expect respect of a
So I'm going to be going through outbound setting do's and don'ts because the most popular thing I get asked is what to do with outbound setting. Like, and this is in terms of getting your first client in most cases. This can be kind of if you already have a client already, but in most of these is getting your first client, right? But yeah, definitely works for when you have a client as well. So we're going to start off with the don'ts because these are very common in beginners, myself, and a lot of people when they start do a lot of things wrong, which is normal. That's how you're going to make your mistakes, right? So first, people try and, obviously I say like you can, this links with the first one, right? This links, they both link together. Let me just, so these two, they link together. Personalized unique messages on your dues, but don't, hey bro, love your profile. People think saying, hey bro, love your profile and kind of saying this is a unique message, but trust me, it's not a unique message. Everybody says this. Everybody says this because it's just the easiest thing to say that kind of sounds unique. Or you might say, not just, hey, bro, love your profile. Hey, really resonate with this post or your recent picture. Just these really basic kind of personalized messages, but they're not actually personalized. When I mean personalized messages, like, I mean, you need to be sending a different message to every single account. Like not a whole different layout of message, but the first line kind of should be different. It shouldn't be the same for every single guy. Um, so example, if they've got a fitness page, you won't be saying the same thing as if they've got a theme page. You won't just be saying, hey, love your recent post. It'll be something actually based on that. But this also ties in with don't flood with compliments. A lot of people send their kind of opening message in and it's like, hey, bro, love your physique, love your change in that you've made in 6 months. You've really changed people's lives. Completely resonate with you, bro. I'd love to work. Like, it sounds too beggy. You don't want to come across as a beg because they're going to realize that they're going to smell out that you really need someone. Whereas you want to be, you want to be someone that's offering value. You've got professional training, like I said. So you don't need them. You don't need them. So don't beg it. So flooding with compliments is definitely a no-go. Use the same message all the time. So what I mean by this is you need to kind of switch up your messaging. Don't, for first week, use the same message every single day. Say if you send out 100 messages a day, don't use the same 100 message, same layout for every single message because you want to see what works and what doesn't work. Because imagine the same message that you send in doesn't work. You send in 100 messages and it doesn't work, whereas you could be sending 20 of this, 20 of this, 20 of this. One of them might work, and then you can use that on the next day and then kind of find out what works best for you. And then an obvious one, which you boys should know, super long messages. No, go straight away. If I get a super long message in my DMs, I'm 9 times out of 10 not going to read it because I don't have time to read it. I don't want to read it. It's just an instant red flag for people that are busy. And, the people that you're reaching out to are probably going to be busy. So obviously I've told you not what to do. So now what to do, right? So try different platforms. In terms of getting your first client, anyway, this is try different platforms. So if you've been trying to get a client on Instagram for a week, 2 weeks, and nothing's working for you, maybe try and go onto Facebook groups or LinkedIn. Try different platforms. You don't need to just stick to Instagram. But obviously Instagram's the most common one, but it's just a thing that if you're really struggling, then try different platforms. This is a super important one. Hit a ridiculous amount of volume. Obviously the daily objectives, they're like send 5 messages, send 10 messages, 50 messages. But realistically, we don't want you sending 50 messages. We want you sending 100 messages per day. If you don't have a client and you're trying to get a client and you want to change your situation, you should be sending 100 messages. It doesn't take that long. If you send 10 messages per hour for the all day, you'll hit 100 messages. And 10 messages, how long is that going to take you? It's going to take you like 20 minutes, 10 minutes even. So don't make excuses. Hit a ridiculous amount of volume if you want to get a client because volume negates luck. So make sure you hit a ridiculous amount of volume. Gain attention. So don't do what everybody else does. So like even if I go to my Instagram DMs now, right? Uh, right. So you'll see like most of these are hey, I've seen hey, are you interested? Hey, hey. Like they're all just so basic. You need to come up with your own things that are kind of not what everyone else puts, right? So don't come with these basic messages, gain attention, kind of links to the personalized, unique messaging. But that's what's going to gain attention. And also keep the attention by making the conversation interesting. Don't just ask them the same boring questions. Make sure it's a conversation and make it easy for them to reply. Don't just give them something where they're gonna have to really think of a reply. You want them, yes, no answers, quick responses, and you want the conversation quick. that also ties into the next one, reply quickly. You want the conversation between you first messaging them and them replying, literally a 20-minute span, and then hopefully booking a call with them. You don't want this conversation going on for days and days because they're going to lose attention. They're going to lose interest. You want to spike that interest early and then reply quickly just so you can get that process done quicker, right? And then finally, keep it super casual. Obviously, you boys know this is important. Tonality, keeping it super casual. You know, if they're a guy, hey bro, yo bro, look, do you know what I'm saying? You need to kind of use a language that you'd want to be used on you. Keep it super casual. Don't make it too formal, because at the end of the day, you're both guys that are offering value to each other. Keep it super casual, and you're going to get more success out of that. So that's the main do's and don'ts from outbound appointment setting. Obviously, I've not covered everything not to do and everything to do with the outbound setting, but these are the main things, the main mistakes, and the main things that I think people need to do in order to give you that success getting your first client. Hope this helps.
What is inbound appointment setting recap? So again, as an appointment setter, you are booking consultation calls for your client, and instead of dealing with cold leads, you are now dealing with warm/hot. You're dealing with warm/hot leads. These people are already showing interest. These people are already showing interest, so it's likely that they'll message you first. Maybe they'll like comment, like maybe you'll have a call to action and they'll comment like me or something, like for you to message them. That's still probably inbound, but these people are already showing interest. So your job is not to generate interest; it's just to qualify the leads and book the call. That's your job. Qualify, and book the calls. The name of the game of inbound appointment setting is to maximize the conversion rates. To maximize the conversion rates, a lot of this warm traffic will cost money, so it's your job to maximize these conversion rates in order to make sure the money being spent is being spent efficiently, to maximize the profits here. That's your job as an inbound appointment setter. Pretty straightforward. It's a little bit easier than outbound appointment setting, because of course you don't really have to worry about people not knowing who you are, people not being interested, because they're already showing that they are interested. So it's pretty simple. You're going to take the warm lead and convert that into a booked call. That is inbound appointment setting. So in this video, we are talking about prioritizing different messages over other messages, because when you are dealing with warm leads, it's important to get this right. Especially if you've got a big account, you've got a lot of volume coming through, you need to prioritize your messages, because you're not going to have time to instantly reply to everything if you've got a lot of volume. So have the volume. The first, so there's going to be a list of like order of importance. So can I do a chart? Arrow. Highest, lowest, and this is the priority chart. This is the P stands for priority. So this is the priority chart. So if you have a lot of volume, it's important to, when you first log onto the Instagram account, you might have tons of messages to reply to, and this is how to actually prioritize these messages. I feel like I've covered this in a past topic, but let's just make sure you've really got this because it's important. Highest priority, new CTA messages. That's CTA messages, newest to oldest. So when you are replying to messages in general, the golden rule is to reply to the new messages first. The quicker you reply, the more likely it is that they're going to call. If someone's been waiting 1 hour, they're not really going to, it doesn't really matter if they're waiting 1 hour, 5 minutes. But if someone's been waiting 2 minutes, the difference between 2 minutes and 7 minutes is quite big. So message the newest messages first. Newest to oldest is always going to be the theme. I'm not going to type that for every single one of these. Just assume everything that I say, that the order should be newest to oldest. So a CTA message, oh my days. Okay, cool. CTA message, I'll give you an example. So on my account, it says DM setter if you're next. If you go on my posts, the CTA is DM setter. So that's the call to action. The CTA word is setter. So everyone that says setter, I'm going to apply to those first. The new leads that say setter, those are my number one priority. It's quick, it's efficient. I can easily just power through those super quickly, newest to oldest. Then you will apply to good lead. Apply to the good leads. These are the ones where you're having a good back and forwards, sound promising, or they might be near to booking a call. You're going to apply to those before, obviously, you apply to the bad leads. Again, newest to oldest. In between this whole thing, keep replying to the fresh messages. So as you are going through these, and then you stop replying through these, and then you might get a couple of these guys reply, then before continuing with this, reply to those guys again. Now, you want to be replying to these guys instantly. Keep replying to the fresh messages is like, again, this is priority. I'm going to put this here as priority. Then reply to the good leads, again, newest to oldest. Then reply to the dead leads, again, newest to oldest. So the dead old leads will be like right at the bottom of this list. And then when you've run out of all of that, you will do outreach. Pretty simple. This is how you should structure your inbound appointment setting. This should be what you're prioritizing. This looks like once you've run out of messages to reply to, you should be doing outreach. Because if you're not doing outreach, then what are you even doing? Sitting there, what? I don't know. So, but yeah, of course, keep replying to the fresh messages as they come in. That is your priority. Speed is key to inbound appointment setting. If you are supposed to be maximizing your conversion rates, then speed is going to help you do that. Having quick conversations gets people emotionally triggered. It gets them more invested into this. They're going to trust you more. They're going to be more enthusiastic, and it's going to result in higher conversion rates. Quick video, but yeah, I got the point across. Keep going. The main focus of inbound appointment setting. Main focus of inbound. So of course you are dealing with warm leads here, so the focus is a little bit different compared to outbound. The main focus is on qualifying, converting. The main focus is on qualifying and converting, right? Yeah. The main focus is on qualifying, converting, and prepping them for the call. And actually, now that I think about it, of course, as appointment setters, the more intel you can gather, the better. Qualifying, you need to see that they're going to be a good fit for the call. Converting, you're obviously trying to maximize your conversion rates to make sure you are utilizing the inbound, the warm leads. If you're not maximizing conversion rates, then you're losing them money. Prep them for the call. Obviously, you want to maximize the chances of that these guys actually go onto the call and make a sale. You don't want to just book calls that you don't think will sell. You want to make sure that everything that's going through, you're super confident that will make a sale. And you also want to gather intelligence, again, to make sure that these calls sell. If you can pass on notes to the closer, then awesome. So qualifying. Let's move these to the side for a second. So qualifying. Every business owner and every company has different things that they want to qualify. So you are going to need to speak to your client about this. Ask them, what do they need you to qualify? Every business is different. Like, for example, like me, I need to qualify that they are a man. I need to qualify that they have at least 2 hours per day to put into this. I need to qualify that they have, well, depending on how much the program is nowadays when you're watching this, but at the moment, I need to qualify that you've got £500 or more. I've got these different things I need to qualify. I've got to qualify that I think you are actually going to be committed and work hard at this. I've got different things I need to qualify. Speak to your business. They might have different things. The main things, of course, that you need to qualify is, can they afford it? Are they interested? And if they are a B2B company, are they the decision maker? These are typically the main things that you need to qualify. across the different industries. But of course, speak to your business owner. Everyone's got different things they need to qualify. It's very important that you understand exactly what is expected of you, because if you're booking calls that are not qualified, then you are going to get fired. So make sure to do that, boys. Converting. This is where you are going to be using your skills to book as many calls as possible. Of course, that's a little bit vague, like that's not very useful for you guys, I'm sure, but just think about it. You've been through your training, you know what you need to do. Relax, be patient, play the game of chess, use the things that I've taught you. You should be masters at appointment setting by this point, and keep practicing. You'll get there, but just make sure you're booking as many calls as possible. A big part of this is just staying organized. If you are dealing with warm leads, you need to make sure you're converting the most amount of leads as possible. Warm leads cost money through advertisements or whatever, so it's important that you are literally wringing out every last drop of water from the towel. Every last drop that you can squeeze out of these guys, you need to make sure you're doing that. So staying organized is very important, because it's going to remind you to follow up with some leads that I might have fell through. It's going to, using your CRM to see like, okay, these leads I need to follow up with. It's going to remind you, okay, every single person that's not booked a call today, I'm going to message every single one of them. And it's going to help you, it's going to help remind you to maximize these conversion rates. It's going to help remind you to keep following up, follow up. Do whatever you need to do. Follow up a million times if you need to. You need to maximize these conversion rates. That's your main focus as an inbound. Prepping them for a call. This is just like sending over the VSL, or giving them a small idea of what the call is about. Making sure that they understand what it is that they're getting into, right? If you've not made it clear that they're buying a program and they jump onto the call and they think that you're offering them a job instead of selling them a program or something, then there's going to be a little bit of confusion and they're not going to make a sale, right? So make sure they understand what the call is about. That if you're selling a fitness program, make sure they understand that you're selling a fitness program, etc., right? And of course, gather intel, probing questions, background questions. I don't know if you guys remember that module. I hope so, because it's an important module. Probing questions, background questions. Ask lots of questions, get information, and make a note. Make a note, and not only make a note and pass it onto the closer. Again, I always recommend when you're appointment setting, inbound or outbound, you have a pen and paper next to you. I have like a million different pieces of paper, all full of notes from when I'm doing whatever. That one's got a load of doodles on it. I've got a million different pieces of paper. You should always be making notes, boys. It's super important. The more information you can pass on to the closer, even if it's just stuff like, oh, this guy's really friendly. This guy's from the UK. This guy's from the same city as you. Something like that. Any small details that you can pass on, the better. This guy's 15. This guy makes this much money a month. This guy wants to live in Dubai. Blah, 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 blah. The much more details, the better. It's definitely going to help your closer make these sales. And I've lost where I am in the presentation, but I think I've covered everything anyway. Hope this helped, boys. Keep grinding. when you're doing your inbound appointment setting, boys, you need to be representing. You need to represent, and you need to. If you're logged into someone's Instagram account and you're sending messages from their account or from their Facebook group or whatever it is, you need to represent their brand and their values. This is literally your response. This is your duty as their appointment setter, because a lot of the time you're not going to be saying to every single person that messages you, "Hi, I'm Temi's appointment setter. How can I help you today?" A lot of the time you're just going to be messaging and they're just going to assume that it's me. Sometimes you'll say that you're an appointment setter, yes, but for the most part, they're just going to assume that you're speaking to me. So it's very important that you represent your client's brand and their values. Of course, this is something that you need to speak to them about. You never truly know someone's value. Ask them this on the sales call. Ask them this before you get the job, after you get the job, or whatever. You're not going to know truly know someone's brand values and stuff like that, unless you ask them, unless you have an in-depth conversation about this. And of course, based on previous conversations, maybe you've studied their past conversations to get an idea of what they typically reply to these certain scenarios. Maybe you've just spoke to this person enough, or you have read through their content, you've been following them for a while, and you have a basic idea of what their values and their brand is all about. Just try to match that as best as possible. If you're ever unsure of what to apply, and you're ever unsure of how to best represent their values, then I would say that's the time when it say, to be honest, bro, I'm just Temi's appointment setter. My opinion is this, but I'm not sure what Temi would say about this, or whatever it is. Just come clean. Okay, I'm actually an appointment setter, so I don't actually have an answer for that. But you need to represent their values as best as you can, boys. So let's say I have a girl message me, then I expect my appointment setters to be polite, respect my values, and say, "Hi, I really appreciate you reaching out, but I'm so sorry, but we don't actually accept women into our program. I'm more than happy to point you in the right direction for free." Even though you're not getting paid to do that as an appointment setter, you're not getting paid to give people free value or being polite or actually replying to these messages, because you could just ignore the messages, right? But if you're working for someone and they've got a strong online presence, a strong reputation, strong values, it's your job, it's your responsibility as their appointment setter. Even though you're not getting paid for it, you've just got to do that, boys. It's important. If you want to stick around for a while and you actually want to be working for these people, you want a good career in sales and appointment setting, you want promotions in the future as a setter manager, or you just want to keep working with this guy, then yeah, it's important that you're paying attention to the small details. To be honest, I think that's it. I think you guys understand. You've all got brains. We're alpha setters. Just try your best to act in a way that would make your clients proud. Just act in a way that would make them proud of you. Let's pretend that they're watching you at all times, because a lot of the times your clients will be reading your messages anyway. I go through my appointment setters messages quite a lot, have a read of what they're saying. So just pretend like they're watching you at all times, and always try to act accordingly. Don't ever get mad or something. If someone's being super unnegotiable or annoying you a little bit, never lash out and get angry at them. Anything like that, boys. Don't get emotional. You be a professional at all times. Be a professional at all times. I hope this helped, boys. Keep grinding. So with inbound appointment setting, it's likely that you'll have some scripts to follow. Your client will probably provide you some scripts. Of course, as the specialist appointment setters, if you think that there's anything wrong with their scripts, it's your responsibility to voice your concerns to your client and tell them where you think that they should improve, or give them some suggestions on how to improve their script. That's your duty as the specialists, boys. Alpha appointment setters, it's likely that your client, you probably know more than your client when it comes to appointment setting, right? So make sure to let them know if you think that there's any problems. With scripts, with inbound appointment setting, sometimes you'll have a long script, sometimes you'll have a short script, sometimes you won't have a script, but you'll have a list of qualifying questions to ask. Again, this is a conversation that you're going to have with your client. Communication is absolutely key with inbound appointment setting. But there's different types of scripts, and we're gonna go through like a couple of different types of scripts that you might have. So you might have short, long, or you might just have a list of qualifiers, and that's it. I have a basic script for my students, but what you need to understand, boys, is when it comes to scripts, these are not something that you copy like an NPC. Like, you're not just going to sit there like a robot, monged out, just copy and pasting these messages. You need to be personalizing every single conversation. You need to personalize every single conversation, boys, and that includes, so let's say that you've got a basic script. So let's say you've got script. I'm going to copy this, there. In between these 4 messages of script, you should be acknowledgement, or at least is that the bare minimum that I would expect. So instead of just following the script, I'd at least expect you to acknowledge their previous messages in between the script, like gotcha mans, I see, yeah, that makes sense, bro. Yeah, that makes sense, bro. You're not a robot. You're not here to do a robot's job. You're here to do the job of a human being. So make sure you are personalizing every single conversation, adding a little bits of input, slightly changing the script, slightly bending it depending on the type of person that you're speaking to, depending on how the conversation's going, depending on if you're vibing, whatever it is. Use your brain. You are specialists in this industry, boys. You are not here to just print scripts like a robot. Sometimes you'll have a really short script. Sometimes it's literally going to be, bang, wait, just curious, where you from, what do you do for work? Oh, perfect, bro. What makes you want to get into appointment setting? Oh, awesome, well, we can definitely help you out with that. Are you free to jump on a quick call? Sometimes the script is literally that short, which is fine. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, make sure you are personalizing the conversation and trying to come across as authentic and as human being as possible. If you have a longer script, then that is obviously where you're going to be giving a little bit more input. The longer your script is, the more input you're going to have, because if you're writing more messages, you're going to have to think of more input. It's not very hard, boys. Again, just speak to these people like you're speaking to your boys. Don't force conversation. Don't force it. Make sure you're asking questions, probing questions, qualifying questions, trying to gather some intel, trying to extract pain points. Just speak to them. Just speak to them like a normal human being, boys. Trust your gut a lot of the time. Don't force it. The same way that when you're doing outbound appointment setting, you can scare people away by giving off red flags. Some red flags are being like too salesy, too nice, too polite and agreeable. These are all things that you need to avoid in inbound appointment setting as well, because the last thing you want to do is scare off warm leads, because that is money down the drain. Another version of a script is that you might just have a list of qualifiers. So let's say you've got 3 things that you need to qualify, where they are from, what they do for work, where they're from, what they do for work, and how odd are they. So let's say that you've got a list like this of qualifiers. You can go to one of 2 ways. Your scripts can be just a normal convo, and then these questions when your scripts can be a normal conversation where you just implement these questions like when appropriate. You're like, hey bro, just curious where you from? Oh, awesome bro, I'm from blah 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 blah. Are you currently working at the moment? Oh, awesome bro, what is it that you do for work? No, cool. Yeah, just curious as well. How old are you, by the way? This is where you're just going to be having a normal conversation with these guys, and you're just bouncing backwards and forwards. and you're just asking the qualifying questions as you go along. This could be like, you could have a script that mentions this, you could have a short or long script that mentions this, but let's say you've just got the qualifiers and it's up to you what you want to do. You can either do it like that, where you're just implementing the questions as you go along, or you can do it in like literally like a question format, like question 1, where are you from? Question 2, what do you do for work? Question 3, how old are you? Or you can, either of these, they both work. They both work just fine. But what I will say is, if you ever implement something like this, make sure to ask permission beforehand. You know, if you guys have messaged me or my appointment setters, you know that I use this format. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot more efficient. If you're getting a lot of volume, then I recommend speaking to your client about this. This is a lot faster. But this is probably slightly better for conversion rates. Again, pros and cons. Speak to your client. Always ask for permission, because otherwise people will feel like they're being interrogated. People will feel like they're being interrogated if you do this one as well. If you are not implementing the acknowledgements, you need to acknowledge everything they say to space out your questions. Otherwise, they will feel like they are being interrogated. Ask permission beforehand to sort of get the go-ahead to do this, because if you just drop this on them, then they're going to be a little bit freaked out. Their defenses are going to go up, and boom, you've just lost money. There's a different way your scripts can be handled, but again, it's important to use your intuition. You're trained in this industry for a reason. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to appointment setting, as long as you get to the end result, which is the booked call. That's all that matters. So use your brain. Everyone's gonna have a different style of appointment setting. Maybe you don't have a script and you're just free to message however you want. Use your brain, use your skills that you've learned, use everything that you've learned in this course. Make sure to ask for feedback from me and the boys. That is going to help you. Even ask for feedback from your client as well. In the last video, I mentioned that you need to be representing their values as well. If you're asking for feedback from your client, that's going to help make sure that you are qualifying the right things and, you know, respecting their values and stuff like that. So yeah, like I said, a lot of the time, if you're working with some of these Instagram businesses, you're probably going to be the more experienced guy when it comes to appointment setting. If you're working with some more established companies or working with like a Facebook group company, they'll probably have all of this already set out for you. But if you're working with a smaller business on IG, it's likely that you are the expert in this field when it comes to appointment setting. So make sure to give them your input, tell them where you can improve, and also ask me, like, hey, tell me, I've just got this sales script. What do you think of it? Because I'm here to help, right? I'm here to help. Anyway, hope this helped, boys. On to the next video. Keep grinding. Phone setting. There's not as much demand for phone appointment setters nowadays, but it still is a thing that you might encounter in like Facebook groups and stuff like that. And as you can probably guess by the name, phone setting is literally just appointment setting on the phone. That's what phone setting is. So in like typically appointment setting nowadays means you're logged into their social media, like Facebook groups or Instagram, Discord or something, and you're replying to messages for them. Well, there is something called phone setting. It definitely used to be a lot more popular back before like this social media boom. Like social media nowadays is mainly about texting, but a lot of well-established companies, a lot of old companies and stuff like that will still be hiring phone setters, and also just depends on the type of company. And a phone setter, obviously, you've got some leads, and you're basically either calling warm leads as triage team, or you are cold calling to generate new leads, right? Actually, I suppose I can cover what triage is in this video as well, actually. So there's also a thing called triage, just a little side note. It's the call between the setter and the... triage call is the call between the setter and the consultant. So the appointment setter will book a call with the triage team will call them and book a call with the consultant. It's just an extra way to qualify the lead and warm up the lead a little bit before the consultation call. If you guys want to do that, again, very profitable. You've probably heard me talking about this on TikTok and stuff. Triage is very profitable still. Usually get 5% as a triage. But triage is a really good opportunity. It's not as common nowadays, since like most of it is just Instagram, book a call straight to the consultant. But if you find an opportunity like this, then yeah, it still can be very profitable. Same sort of things apply. You're mainly just qualifying the lead as the triage team. Just qualifying questions. You all know how to qualify by now. So yeah, that's basically your job as a triage. And phone setting is you usually have a list of leads that you need to call, like a a lead book and you'll go through it, just cold calling, trying to spark some interest, speak to the decision maker, the business owner, the homeowner, or whatever it is, and try and get some interest out of them and book the call. So usually it could be follow-ups as well. Follow-ups and blowouts. A blowout is someone that initially booked the sales call but didn't show up to it. So could be calling a list of blowouts. And that's your job as a phone setter, and most of the same things apply. But since you are on the phone, there's a couple of extra things that you need to make sure you are doing as a phone appointment setter that you don't even need to worry about as a DM setter. Phone setting, in my opinion, phone setting is easier than DM setting. In my opinion. Now, obviously, not everyone's going to agree. There is a little bit more skill involved, but if you're good at this, then it's actually a lot easier to convert these guys, because you can, when you're messaging on Instagram, you don't have a voice, you have a face, you can't give tone. You're just typing messages. You might have heard the saying that most of human communication is non-verbal. Well, that includes things like facial expressions, tone of voice, body language, stuff like that. Of course, when you're on the phone, you can't see facial expressions, you can't see body language, but you can hear tone of voice, and you can sort of hear facial expressions in a way. Like if I'm talking and I cheated. If I'm talking and I start smiling, you can sort of hear it in my voice. You can sort of hear that I'm smiling. You can hear that I'm smiling compared to when I'm not smiling. So when you're on the phone, you can actually, if you incorporate these other little tricks of tone and facial expressions into your phone setting, then you can actually communicate your passion and your ideas much more effectively. And you can communicate your genuineness, your trustworthiness much more effectively than DMs, because DMs, you can only use words. And by mastering phone setting, you'll become an absolutely deadly force at booking these appointments, boys. You'll become trust. With phone setting, what you need to know is that tonality is literally the most important thing. Tonality, the tone of voice. Obviously, we all have lots and lots of different tones of voice, and humans are very, very good at detecting even the slightest changes in tonality. We are very good at doing this subconsciously. We don't even think about it. If you do this wrong, you're going to raise a million red flags in them, and they're not even going to know why. If you do this correct, then you are going to hypnotize them into booking these calls, boys. So by learning tonality, you are going to absolutely crush this industry of phone setting. So think of the tonality that you'd use different tonalities. Let's say your friend has just been heartbroken. Your friend has just been heartbroken. You're going to speak to them with a different tone of voice compared to if your friend... You're going to speak to them in a different tone of voice then your friend is pissing you off. You're going to speak to your grandma differently to how you would speak to your dad. You're going to speak to your grandma in a different tone of voice than you speak to your dad. Obviously, your grandma, you're going to speak to her in a slightly softer tone, a softer, nicer, friendlier tone than you're going to speak to your dad. Tonality is very important. So how I want you to think about it. So let's say you're asking a girl to go on a date with you. Your tonality is not going to be aggressive, and you need to come on a date with me. It's going to be the best thing you've ever done in your life. You're not going to give it the over enthusiastic salesman pitch. You're going to be like, you're going to speak with some curiosity, like, how about me and you, we go for dinner next week? Like, what do you think? I think it would be fun. I think it's about time we go for dinner. What do you think? You're going to think of it. You're going to like a fun, curious type of tone to your voice, and that's going to increase your conversion rates when asking a girl to go for dinner or whatever. If you are convincing a car dealership to give you a discount on the price, you're going to be like, I don't know, it's a bit of a stretch. Like, okay, mate. How about we do 240 and we call it that. You are going to, when you're speaking to a car dealership, you're going to adopt a different tone, as in that's a bit of a stretch. How about this? You're gonna adopt the tone of voice as if you're making a compromise. You're gonna adopt a reasonable tone of voice, if that makes sense. You've got all these different characteristics, and you're going to assign a tone of voice to this. So, okay, how about we meet in the middle, mate? A reasonable tone of voice. when you are doing appointment setting on the phone, you need to give the tone of voice of someone that is very genuine, friendly, has their best someone that is genuine, friendly, has their best interest at heart. And you also need to be an expert. You also need to present yourself as an expert. So how you will do this. So when you first pick up the phone, it's important. We've spoken about tone and informality before. It's important that you speak to them man to man. You don't come across as just another salesman trying to pitch them. You need to be relaxed in your chair, relaxed body language. Even though they can't see your body language, incorporate it. Like I said, they can hear it if you smile, and they can hear your body language to an extent. So be relaxed. Whatever you've got to do, whether it's feet on the desk, whatever you got to do, you're chilling. Pick up the phone. Instead of, hi, is Mr. Smith in? Oh, yeah, hi, it's Temi from alphaset.com. Have you got a few moments? That's the complete wrong approach, boys. You're too stiff, you're too salesy, you're too uptight. Relax. Take a deep breath. Pick up the phone. Hi, mate. Am I speaking to John? Sound. John, hi. Just following up. Sorry, I just muted my mic. But hi, John. How you doing today, mate? Sick. Yeah, your name just came through my desk, mate. And what it is I don't know if you remember, but we spoke last week. Yeah, it's Temi from alphasetter.com. Have you got 60 seconds just to run a couple of things by you? Perfect. So we were speaking last week. And you was interested in getting started with appointment setting. I've not heard from you, John. Has everything been okay with you? Everything okay on your end? Okay, glad to hear that, John. I mean, yeah, busy times right now. We're all really busy at the moment. Alphaset is going crazy. You should see the office right now, John. I just wanted to let you know that we've actually got our Alphaset 2.0 releasing next week. And based off what you told me last week, I think it would be something that would truly benefit you, John. Yes, do you mind if I explain a little bit more about it? Perfect. Relax, boys. Relax. Loosen up. Speak to them man to man. You're having a conversation. Ask them questions. Use their first name. Ask permission. Is it cool if I tell you more about this? Keep it casual, boys. Keep it casual. If you pick up the phone and instantly like, hi, is this Mr. Smith? Oh yeah, I'm Temi from blah blah company, and I have an offer for you. The defenses are going to go up. I talk about this all the time. The defenses, as salesmen, we want to bring their defenses down, or we want to slit roll and get on the inside. If you come across as a salesman, another cold caller, then their defenses are going to go right up, because you've got to remember, boys. Phone setting is different to Instagram in a sense that on Instagram, if they don't want to talk to you and they're busy, they're not going to reply to you. With phone setting, you have literally called their phone number, interrupted whatever they're doing, and they don't have a choice but to just listen to you or put the phone down. So in many cases, they might be busy. You might be pissing them off. They might be spending time with their family or their kids or something, and you're interrupting that time. So you better come across right. You better come across correct. If they think you're just another salesman wasting their time, then they're going to put the phone down on you, or worse, they're going to just torture you on that phone and just be like horrible leads. So it's very important that you come across correct. You use your tonality to get through their defenses. Of course, it's your vocabulary as well. Make sure you're using informal words, calling them by their first name. Hey, are you free for a quick chat? Ask permission. But your tonality is the main thing. The tonality. You need to come across as the most sincere man that they've ever spoke to in their life. You need to come across so genuine. You've got to put on the voice a little bit. Hi, John. Your name just came across my desk, and to be honest, after I spoke to you last week, I think this is something that would really benefit you. Are you okay? Are you open to hearing about it? Perfect. I'm not going to take too much of your time, but it's just we're introducing our new program, Alphaset 2.0, on Monday, and after you just got to come across genuine, boys. I don't know what to tell you. It's tonality. It's obviously going to take a lot of practice. Role play is definitely going to help you with this. Speak to your mirror. Speak to your mom. Speak to me. Book a call with me. We'll do a one-on-one. We'll do some mock phone setting role play. But yeah, don't overthink it, boys. The key. If you start overthinking it, then you're going to tense up, and then you're not going to be performing. So you just need to relax. Put your feet on the desk. Relax. Put your feet on the desk, and yeah, make this happen, boys. Anyway, these are not very common nowadays anyway, but this is just in case you come across them like this. It'll be mainly for like things like SMMAs or like real estate companies and stuff like that. Anyway, hope it helped, boys. Keep grinding.